Hey, it's Michael Zapersky from consultingsuccess.com. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Let's talk about specialization for a moment. I did a podcast interview not too long ago with a consultant now based in Scotland who has just a really wonderful specialization. And there's some lessons in there that I think that all consultants, including you, can benefit from. And so I made this quick video to share it with you. If you haven't checked out that podcast episode yet, you can go to the Consulting Success podcast and check out that podcast as well as a whole bunch of other ones that could really help you to grow your business. But let's get to the core content here that I want to share with you today. It's all about specialization. So this consultant that I'm talking about really honed down on their specialization. I want to kind of give you an idea. So here's kind of where he's at, actually. Let's start here. So he is a consultant for doing branding and packaging, design for beer companies. Pretty specific. Now, he could have just called himself a design consultant, right? That would be kind of the highest level. He could have also called himself, a branding consultant. Could have also said, well, I'm not just branding, but I'm maybe within branding, I only do packaging. And actually, I think it's more about, he's more like a packaging consultant now because he's doing brands for, it's all connected to the beer bottles and so forth. So he could have said, well, no, I'm going to be a packaging consultant. But what did he actually do, right? He went from being very, very potentially broad, saying I'm a design consultant, to a branding consultant, to a packaging consultant, to being a packaging design consultant for beer companies. And along the way, and he tried out things like, web and marketing materials and so on. But he really honed in, right, all the way to packaging design for beer companies. Now, his business is going exceptionally well. He's seeing really strong growth. But I understand that a lot of consultants hesitate around this, right? Maybe you've hesitated to focus in more and specialize in a specific area. And so the most common fears that people have around this, number one is that they're going to lose business. If they fear that they're going to lose business, that somehow by honing in, by specializing, by focusing, that they are going to not have as much business anymore because they're going to a smaller market. But that's not true. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. Number two, people feel they're going to miss opportunities. Here's what I think about, right? If you're thinking, I might lose business, here's the reality. Right now, let's say that this is the size of the market that you're playing in. If you're general, that's you. I don't know if you can even see that on the camera. You're a dot, right? You're a dot. What you want to think about, though, is entering into a marketplace where you're playing in a much smaller field, but you're able to make a much bigger impact because you stand out a lot more, right? Because you're a bigger fish in a smaller pond as opposed to being a little minnow in a massive ocean. Missed opportunities. People think, well, I'm going to miss opportunities. People might contact me from a different type of industry or whatever, and I won't be able to help them, right? Well, that's not true as well, because just because you're focusing on a specific area doesn't mean that you can't accept other types of business. You still can. It's totally up to you. So if you're focusing on only working with automobile manufacturers, if someone approaches you from the printing industry, it doesn't mean you have to say no to them. If it still aligns with what you want to do and you want to take that project on, take that project on. You can feel good about doing that. You don't have to say no to opportunities that come your way. But from a targeting perspective, from a focus perspective, from a messaging perspective, you're going to be much more focused. And so that's really number 3, is that your marketing, and this is not a fear now, this is really a reason why you should do this, is that your marketing and your messaging is going to be so much more effective because it will hone in, it'll speak to a specific ideal client. As opposed to saying, well, I'm a design consultant that can do 50 different things. Oh, I'm a design consultant, or I'm a packaging consultant for beer companies. So there's far fewer companies that could use those services than if you said that you're a design consultant. But if you're a design consultant, there's a lot of design consultants. What makes you different than anyone else? So you're able now to target those very specific organizations that are your ideal clients, develop messaging that really resonates with them because it speaks directly to them, and you're able to target them and identify them much easier. So your marketing becomes not only easier to manage, but more effective because you know exactly who to point it to. Instead of trying to cast a huge wide net and manage a whole bunch of stuff, you're able to go very, very direct, right? Almost laser targeted towards that ideal client. And then there's the 4th point here, also another reason to do this, is that by specializing, you position yourself as an expert much faster. So of course, you still need to have real expertise, but by deciding to specialize, an ideal client will right away, through your specialization, they will see you as an expert. Right? If I'm a beer company and I'm looking to hire someone to help me with my packaging, am I going to hire someone that calls himself a design consultant who has stationery work, website work, signage work, interior design work, product design work, like everything under the sun? Or am I more likely to hire someone that specifically specializes in package design for my specific type of company? Of course, this person will have the advantage. Of course, they're going to have the upper hand. And of course, they're going to win more business more consistently when they go up against this person when they're targeting that specific market. So as long as there's enough potential in your market, which there are in most markets, right? You don't need 1,000 clients to build a successful and thriving consulting practice. You can get 10 clients per year and have a very successful business, just depending on what size your average engagement is, right? So you don't need tons and tons. You don't need to go after this huge market when this one here will do. And not only will do, but you can build a multi-million-dollar consulting practice targeting a very specific market because you become the expert in that market and your marketing and your messaging becomes much easier to manage and highly effective. So I hope this example kind of illuminates the reasons to consider specializing. And I want to challenge you as a consultant right now, from one consultant to another, to look at what is your real area of specialization. Who are you really focused on and helping? And can you segment in even more? Can you be even more specific? Can you create more focused messaging and marketing to really go after like your ideal client? Because when you do, you'll probably start noticing that you're going to get a lot more traction, see a greater response to your marketing, to your outreach, to your articles, to everything else that you do, because your brand will now start to resonate with that specific type of ideal client much more than it ever did before. I wish you really great success. Have a wonderful day. If you'd like to get additional resources to help you to grow your consulting business and to take it to the next level, reach out to us at consultingsuccess.com.